Let's open it up. We want to bring our panel in here. Melanie, Collette, and John Burnett. Another of the things that is out there right now, there's a lawsuit against the company from one of the producers. Mm-hmm. And we're getting information that indicates that this may be related to that situation rather than the Dominion situation. Right. Your thoughts?
I read about that earlier today, about that lawsuit, and the lawsuit seems petty and juvenile. I don't know the details of the lawsuit, but what I read in the article was like, Tucker wasn't concerned about our mental health. Like, come on now. Like, I get that you need to have a mentally healthy environment. I left teaching because it was not a mentally healthy environment, but I'm not suing anybody over it. Right. So I don't know what the situation is, but I did read that earlier today. But I'll tell you, these protesters and these people celebrating, it shows an incredible lack of class and civility that is really unfortunate.
Yeah, and just about that Abby Grossberg lawsuit, specifically, she was a producer at Tucker Carlson's show, and he leaves about a month after she filed that suit, claiming that Tucker Carlson promoted a hostile work environment. So it sounds like there's more beneath the scenes, specifically buried in that lawsuit,
Absolutely.
as the LA Times is reporting.
I have to disagree with my colleague Melanie. The thing is that when you create a hostile work environment, whether through actions or nonverbal communication, right, all that together can create a hostile work environment. And the lawsuit cites words and language used that I cannot repeat on this show, right? Yeah. So when you factor all those things in, and there have been previous lawsuits in terms of guests coming on, launching allegations. Fox won those lawsuits. However, this one is more credible and I think comes with evidence and comes from within inside the organization with witnesses, right?
The interesting thing is if this action related to Tucker Carlson doesn't have anything to do with the Dominion lawsuit, it kind of changes the conversation, because what a lot of people are saying, well, who's next? Who's next? Right. If that happened after Dominion, who's next on the chopping block? And it's like, well, what about this case? That changes the conversation to what's in this case. Right. If that's, we don't know for sure.
And if you want to protect the culture, right? I think you send no greater message than getting rid of someone at a primetime spot like Tucker Carlson, saying that you're not going to tolerate this behavior.
Right.
Yeah, and Melanie, actually, Abby Grossberg was Tucker's former head of booking, but specifically her claims are that male producers and Tucker regularly used vulgarities specifically to describe women and frequently made anti-Semitic jokes. And just to make a parallel, maybe where there isn't one, also Don Lemon is accused of being significantly misogynistic in the workplace. A coincidence they happen in the same day?
Oh, probably not. But and of course, there's no place in the workplace for terrible language, especially if you're not around people that they're not your friends. You're at work. You have to behave.
That's a good point.
You have to, you know what I mean? Like, you have to behave like you're at work. And anytime you don't, even though you think it might be safe for you to do so, you are opening yourself up to some repercussions. I also read, getting back to Dominion a little bit, I also read that he said a lot of nasty things about the management, so that could have contributed. And he did not use nice words in that correspondence either. So I maybe on top of everything else, you ticked us off, and we have this lawsuit.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with management. I think when you make a good business decision, you have to look at risk, right? And it's clearly risk when you create a hostile work environment, along with derogatory comments as well as sexual, commentary. I think that creates an uncomfortable work environment, and they've had a history, right, going back several years. And the thing is, wait a second, we have an obligation to shareholders and all other stakeholders to make sure we take immediate, swift, and decisive action, and that's exactly what they did.
All right, John, Melanie, stand by.